So the basics. There is going to be a term that you need to be familiar with when you are starting your search for where you might want to downsize to. That is the activities of daily living, ADLs. These are going to be the things that we normally do in daily living, including any daily activity we perform for self-care. So these are going to be the things like bathing, walking, transferring from your bed to a wheelchair, or from your just getting into bed by yourself, using toilet facilities, and taking medication. So these are the things that define the ADLs. Your type of living is also going to be defined by those ADLs. So your first option is aging in place, or excuse me, everything that you're capable of all ADLs. So you can either age in place, which is staying where you are, or perhaps moving to something a little bit smaller, but preparing it to stay there for a while. So you're going to take all those measures to keep it safe. You can also go to a garden home in some sort of a community, just a smaller footprint, smaller yard. Usually the yards are taken care of for you, and you just get to have your little patio with pots and plants and things like that. Or you can go to an active age-restricted community. So this is going to be like your Del Webbs, your Sun Cities, or any of those complexes that you see around town that are 55 and up or 62 and up. They give you the luxury of being able to come and go. And if you want to go on a cruise, you lock and leave, you walk away. You don't have to worry about your yard. You don't have to worry about hail damaging your roof. You don't have to worry about if a freeze comes through and you don't have your water dripping, your cabinets open, and your ceiling flood or drops because of flooding and whatever else happened last February. So capable of all ADLs. Your next option is independent living. Now, this is also ADLs, capable of all ADLs, but you're going to have meals provided, transportation provided, access, full schedule of activities, field trips, fun things to do. Housekeeping is usually provided, and then maintenance is also provided. I like to think of this as like a cruise ship in dry dock. Okay, you can go and you're living your best life at this stage. You've got people taking care of you, but you are playing shuffleboard and whatever else, all kinds of fun stuff. Now, when we get into assisted living, this is when the ADLs really start to become a factor. Okay, when you go to assisted living, you may not be capable of one or two of the ADLs. Okay, maybe you're sitting at home and you're not getting your meals like you should. You're not eating like you should, or maybe you're forgetting to take your medication. That might be a good time to move into assisted living. You're going to have all of the same features of the independent living, but you're also going to have assistance with those ADLs that you might need assistance with. Reminders to take your medicine, or even bringing your medicine to you, or just making sure somebody gets you down to your meal. Okay. Next, we have memory care communities. And this is all of the same things that you would get with independent living, meals, transportation, so on and so forth. But there's also cognitive therapies, and you're in a restricted area. So your loved ones can come to you, but you can't necessarily go anywhere without them being there for you. Then you have skilled nursing, which is a 24-hour medical setup. So somebody's always there to take care of you should you need that care. And last but not least, we have life care communities, or continuing care retirement communities, CCRCs. And this is like one big campus with everything on it. So you probably have a section that's all independent living, and then you would have a section that is assisted. There's probably memory care, and there's probably nursing skilled nursing there as well. Some of the local facilities like this would be like a Trinity Terrace, or the Watermark at Broadway City View. It changes names pretty frequently. Some of these may require a fee or a buy-in. You just have to research that and figure out what's best for you. All right. So speaking of what's best for you, there is a whole network of people like me that have special abilities, skills to help you in each phase of this journey. And one of those people is the senior living advisor. Think of like, when you were looking for an apartment, this is an apartment placement company. And these are people that will connect with you on a really granular level and understand you and what is important to you. They'll know what your care needs are, what your budget is, what your geographic needs are. If you want to live next to a child, if you want to live next to your best friend, if living next to your church is important, they will help you with that. What activities are of importance to you? And then also any other details that are kind of your non-negotiables when finding a place to live. They will take all of this and digest it, and then they will take all of that, and with their resources and all their relationships that they have, they will find a list of 2 or 3 places for you to go to, and they will have vetted it out based on the criteria, and likely they will get you a tour scheduled. If you want them to go with you on the tour, they will very willingly go on the tour with you. And then once you found the place to live, they will finish up that process for you. You don't pay anything to these folks. They're actually paid by the communities. So it's a really nice resource to have. And the folks that I have met in this part of the network are all working from personal experience. They have a loved one that they struggled through finding a place for, or had a good experience with a company, and so they wanted to be a part of that to help seniors find the right place. Next is a senior real estate specialist. These are realtors that just have an extra little incentive on their, or a couple letters on the end of their name. They have special training, and the training is earned from the National Association of Realtors. Oftentimes, again, they're coming from personal experience. They've dealt with real estate. They just tend to know a little bit more about what you need to know from a perspective of helping a senior sell their home. Okay. And again, they have a ton of established relationships and resources. Then you have senior move managers and downsizing professionals, which is what I am. We have a national organization. It's the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And so it's a great resource. It's got all kinds of information that you can use to kind of guide you through your move. If you are in Timbuktu and you need to find a move manager, you can type in your zip code and it will pop up the move managers in your region. So it's a super handy thing to have once you start the process. Why you would hire someone like myself? Yes, ma'am.
Is it a large organization, or is it just, is it new? I mean, is it?
It's been around like 20 years. And I think there's about 1,000 members. So, and there's a headquarters, and they have continuing education programs. There's various certifications you can get. So it's a pretty robust organization. So what would somebody like myself help you with? It would be to help minimize the chaos associated with the move, create and execute a seamless action plan. Let's face it, you've probably been in your home for a while, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And the idea of moving is probably a little overwhelming and angst and all the things. So having someone help walk through that process is, a nice thing to have. And then also I have reputable moving companies that I can recommend. And then I can help you in making key decisions. If there are items that you need to part with that it's rather emotional, talk through that, kind of counsel you through it. And then also just any kind of physical distress that it might cause.
Sneak in the house and steal it?
Yes, I'm gonna come in and get your aerosol cap. No, I'm just kidding. She has a collection of random interesting things, and I said I was gonna come in and just get it. Also avoid the costly mistakes and the rewards that often accompany such major lifestyle transitions. This is kind of where I've been with my grandparents, because we made mistakes. One of them was that my grandmother took a bed that wasn't the bed she shared with my grandfather. And that just hurts me even to this day, that she was sleeping in a bed that was in an upstairs bedroom and we just took it because it fits. Well, that just doesn't seem right. And then my aunt pawned off a sofa she didn't want anymore. She wanted to buy a new one, and it was incredibly uncomfortable. It wasn't a hide bed. You couldn't have people sleep. It was just awful. So those are the things that I'm hopefully looking out for you. And then again, I have a network of folks that I can hand you off to if that's needed. Okay, so this is the ideal scenario. That would be make the decision to downsize and move. Okay, first step. You've contacted a senior living advisor, and they're helping you find your new home. Okay, then you hire a senior move manager to guide you along the process. Hopefully you have a floor plan from your new place that you're going to move to, and we can use that to decide what pieces of furniture and items you're going to take. And then we get you moved out, get everything staged, get those movers there. They take all your stuff out to the truck. The next thing you know, everything's been delivered to your new home. And then we unbox it, unpack it, and you spend the first night of your new chapter in your new home. My goal is to have you in your bed with your sheets and your bedspread and all the things in your house and your toothbrush next to your sink, so you can sleep happily after this very long and exhausting day. Okay. Then once you've moved out, bring that estate sale person in. That way they have full range of your house. They're not having to trip over you, your stuff that you're going to keep, the stuff you want to leave behind, the stuff that you're indecisive about. You've already made those decisions. So they just come in and do their thing, and they're going to make the most money for you off your personal items. Once the sale's over, you can choose to donate whatever's left over and sell it. You can, there's groups that come in and buy the leftover stuff. And then at that point, real estate comes in, they get your house on the market. You don't ever look back. You're living your new life. Okay? Ideal, right? That doesn't always happen. There are emergencies. There are things that happen in life. And so sometimes we have to do this under duress, and that's what we want to avoid, but it can also be done. So, all right. So benefits of this whole process. We can develop an age in place process or a move plan for you. We'll talk a little bit about aging in place in just a minute. But just starting out with that whole organization and sorting and purging idea. I recently did a house where we purged 115 boxes, banker boxes of paper. I now know that it costs upwards of $700 to have that many boxes shredded. So and granted, this was a special case where the gentleman did not throw away anything, especially receipts from places that are no longer in existence, like Montgomery Ward and Singer Harris. So we can go through every single drawer, every single cabinet, every single closet, every dresser, china cabinet, whatever it is, and make those decisions. Then develop a customized floor plan for your new home. And that's, again, taking the measurements, making sure that you love are going with you, if they will fit, and also making sure that the pieces that you absolutely need will fit. Okay. Then we can also arrange for the profitable disposal of unwanted items. You can do this through an auction, through a estate sale, consignment, a buyout, donation, or any combination of that. Okay. And then also disposing of unused and expired medications. That always is kind of like, what do I do with this stuff? Fire department does not take them anymore, so it's a little bit of an Easter egg hunt to find that. Also arrange shipments and storage. Say a niece in Maine wants a beautiful piece of furniture, then we can have it crated and freighted up to her. So figuring that piece of it out. What else? Interview and schedule and oversee the movers. Like I said, I've got a pretty lengthy list of reputable movers that I can rely on, get pricing from them, and get them scheduled and booked to move you. If we choose to have them pack, just oversee that. It's actually a really good thing to do, is to have them pack, especially like your china, anything that's really valuable, because it's insured with them and not me. Unpack and set up your new home. Like I said, just going through all the boxes, getting those boxes out of there so you can go to enjoying your life. And then coordinate any related services as needed, such as cleaning, waste removal, shopping, assisting with selection of a realtor, and helping prepare the home to be sold. There we go. Okay, so for aging in place, when you decide to stay where you are, it should be based on the ability to maintain or have an improved quality of life. Okay, So if you're starting to have issues, it's probably not ideal. And if you do choose to stay in your house, you probably are gonna have to do some remodeling just to make sure that all the things that you have to keep your home safe for you to stay. Those things that are you able to get in and out of your home safely? Do you have steps going up into your house? Okay, do we need to think about putting in a ramp? Do we need to get a lift? Those kind of things are what we would consider. Also, your home safety. Do you have an alarm system? Do you have functioning fire alarms? All those things are what you want to keep in mind. If you're becoming hard of hearing, making sure that you can hear or see when there's a fire alarm going off. Also, just moving around your home safely. Are you able to, if you are in a wheelchair or if you have a walker, making sure that you negotiate your way through your home is incredibly important at this point. And then having easy access to the things you need for daily living. So bathing, toileting, all those kind of things. You need to make sure that your home is prepared for that. So I'm able to make recommendations for each room of the house, including but not limited to the removing of barriers in your home and trip hazards. So number one key thing is, like, if you've got carpet and then you've got an area rug on top of the carpet, we would want to get rid of that area rug because that's a huge trip hazard for you. And then also installing any kind of safety equipment that you might need. It might be a special alarm system. It might be grab bars in your bathrooms. Okay, any questions? All right, so my tips and tricks. Start early. Go home this afternoon and pick a closet and start going at it. And to make the transition feel healthy. This is for a number of reasons. First of all, it's kind of an arduous task, right? So you want to do it while you still are, healthy, and you can not necessarily enjoy the process, but can make decisions that you want to make, and they're not left up to somebody else. Also, you want to get into your new chapter where you can enjoy it. You've got some time to hang out and meet new people and be a part of this new community that you've joined. Begin by focusing on typical problem areas like attics or your garage or your closet or file cabinets. Did you know that a 4-drawer file cabinet holds 16,000 pieces of paper? Thus, 115 boxes of shred. So there's that. Also, you can go 2 different ways with this next bullet. You can designate a space, perhaps a guest room, for items that are to be sold to get them out of the way. Or think of it in the other way, designate a space of the things you want to take with you to your next stop. And then you can start packing them and having them all in one room. That way it's out of the way and it's ready for the movers, which there's multiple reasons that that's advantageous, because you can, if you bring an estate sale person in to at least kind of take a glimpse of what all they're going to be selling for you, you can say, the stuff in this room is not in the sale. It's going with me to my new place. When the movers arrive, you're paying them by the hour. So you can say everything in that room needs to go out the front door. Don't worry about anything else. So then they're just getting it out, okay? Also, make arrangements to gift your treasures to special people, including family, friends, helpful neighbors, your church, whoever you deem you want to give things to. But I say this with caution. Ask first. Don't take something and just put it on somebody's front porch assuming that they want it. And if you do ask them if they want it and they say no, try your hardest not to be offended, because people don't want other people's stuff right now, especially when it comes to china, silver, things like that. It's just, we're in a time where people just want to be light and be able to travel quickly and fast and, I don't know, get away from the law, whatever it is. But they just don't want that kind of stuff right now. So, take it to a gold and silver shop and sell it, I guess. But just be aware of that, okay? Also, while you're doing this whole process, grab a banker box, not one that you're going to have shredded, but a banker box that you're going to start to put any of those random documents that you have stashed in random places. So maybe you've got some papers in your desk. Maybe you've got some papers in a file cabinet. Maybe you've got papers stuck in your buffet. Wherever they are, start to accumulate them all into one place. Then Once you've made your move, then work on putting together a notebook. And this is for your loved ones to have should anything happen to you. So now all of your papers are together and they don't have to scramble to find these things. A couple of notes on this. This does come from personal experience. My cousin recently had to do this with her parents. Both her parents were sick with COVID in the hospital. She's got a family of her own, 2 small children. She works a full-time job, husband, whole thing. She had to drop everything, go take care of them, and in the process find all this stuff. And it was really hard. There was a safety deposit box that had some information in it that she couldn't get to. So you've got to be thinking about those kind of things to aid your loved ones along the process, okay? Also, when we get to the point where we're actually putting that notebook together, there is, and I have not seen this in person, but Amazon has a fireproof binder that you can get, and I think it withstands like up to 4,000 degrees or something. But it looks like it's a pretty solid piece of equipment that you could have to house all these documents in. And then another option is, and that it's a website, it's a cloud-based thing where you can upload all of these documents. It's really more intended for once you've passed, then you've got your family has all of your directives, all of your funeral plans, everything that you might have in one repository, and it doesn't become active until you actually pass, or you have 1 person, 2 persons that have the passwords to be able to go in there and use it. So it's more for afterlife, but this is right now. So what I would include in this is are your legal and any kind of important documents. So birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, social security cards, military records, anything like that. Your financial records, your social security, income, savings, stocks, tax returns, so on and so forth. Household accounts, cable, electric, gas, anything like that, the account numbers, your social media with the passwords, your email with passwords. What else is there? Cell phones, insurance policies. And then last but not least, your medical information. So I would, create a list of all the procedures you've had done, all of your doctors, why are you seeing that doctor, all the medications you're taking, what are you taking that medication for, how much are you taking, how frequently are you taking it. All of this information can be in one place to help you, and you could take this binder with you to any doctor's appointments and be like, okay, well, I saw Dr. Smith on this day and we're doing this right now, to other doctors. It's a great resource just for day-to-day living too. And there's a great podcast on this. This woman, Lori Williams, that you see her name at the bottom, she is a senior placement advisor. So she helps you find your next home. She also has a series of podcasts, and this particular one is called Getting Organized, Creating a Binder of Essential Documents. And so I would highly recommend it. Well, she's got a ton of other really good podcasts that she's done that are really interesting. All right, don't wait until the last minute or an emergency to begin the downsizing process. On that note, the average size of the American home has nearly tripled in the last 50 years. A lot of space. The average American household has 300,000 items in it. That one file cabinet has 16,000 items in it. It's got kind of like takes your breath back, right? 25% of people with 2-car garages don't have room to park cars inside them, and 32% only have room for 1 vehicle.
That's me.
If you're guilty of all these, you don't have to raise your hand. 1 out of every 10 Americans rent off-site storage. I'm guilty of it. At one point, I had 2 of them. That's really embarrassing. But I did downsize to 1. And then my favorite is the United States has upward of 50,000 storage facilities, more than 5 times the number of Starbucks stores, because it always comes back to Starbucks, right? So anxiety is caused by a lack of control, organization, preparation, and action. Preparation for tomorrow is hard work today. So with that, here are a couple of resources I want you to know about. I mentioned NASM, the National Association of Senior Move Managers, and they have actually added the specialty part of it too this year. So a couple of books that I recommend, think they're holy grail, no offense. The Ultimate Guide to Downsizing by John and Ingrid Sullivan. They're actually realtors here locally, and they're amazing. They've just got this amazing network of people that they just can tap into. They've actually got a speaker series that they do in Arlington at the the Viridian major development. So they're really great. And then Downsizing the Family Home, Don't Toss My Memories in the Trash, and then No Ordinary Move. These are really great books. They can all be purchased on Amazon. But I highly recommend those. And then that podcast I mentioned, Aging in Style with Lori Williams. And then lastly, the 9th annual Senior Synergy Expo is happening on Thursday, May 12th. And if you haven't been, it's actually a lot of fun. It's just across the street. And I think you do actually get free parking, so you don't have to park at the church and walk across the street. But if you register by like April 12th, I think you get a free box lunch. It seems like there's one other gift that you get with that. It's just a 8:30 to 1:30 fair, basically. And they have
a booth?
I don't have a booth, no, but I'll be volunteering at it. So they have workshops of all different kinds of topics. Representatives from all the different communities will be there. They've got in-home healthcare. They've got different publications that'll be there with their magazines. I mean, just all kinds of resources. It's really, really kind of cool. So, and that is it for me. That's my contact information. Who has questions? It's a lot of information to digest. I know. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way you can email us the presentation, because there's so many things there?
Yes.
That would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or just the resources, you know, a list of
Pardon? And yes, the Zoom is being
Okay.
recorded, so you've also got that, but I can make this available. No big deal. Any other questions? Well, like I said, it's a passion. It's fun. I've gotten into people's homes now and gotten to know them. And you just, I was texting a client the other day. I haven't seen her in 6 months, but I was just checking on her. And she's like, oh, by the way, I'm moving. Has my daughter gotten in touch with you? It's like, no. Let me text Wendy real quick and see what she's doing. And when is this move? Oh, it's next Friday. Okay. So, it's like, do you need me to pack also? Because, but a little bit more heads up than that would be fantastic. Because I do teach and I do have kids. So, but yeah, I'm pretty flexible and it's fine. So yes, ma'am.
A point of reference for you, the Walgreens, the CVS at West Creek and McCart takes Old Meds.
That's where I go.
Oh,
You just shared my secret.
They was actually
working on that this morning.
we cleaned out some cabinets and had all this stuff, and so I checked with both Walgreens and CVS, and
Well, Walmart used to do it. And I don't know if it's just select locations. I think it may be just select locations. And you'll know when you see it, it's like a giant box that's, super locked up, and they don't want narcotics, but they'll take pretty much anything else. But yeah, trying to find them is hard. At one point, I guess the fire department took them. And then I went there one time and they're like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. So then it was, yes, we do.
What about the hazardous
McCart.
waste center on?
it's actually on McCart.
You can do that as well. And, if we're going through a garage, then there's, taking care of all that. Taking it to those.
Is it CVS or Walgreens at McCart? No, West Creek.
I think it's Walgreens.
I think it is Walgreens.
I'm pretty sure
Yes,
Walgreens.
yes, because our local Walgreens right up here told me to go there.
Yeah.
Walgreens, sorry.
Any other questions?
What if you just want to get rid of some stuff? Can you, like, somebody like you come in and just help thin things out?
Absolutely. And, I don't publish it as much on my documentation and stuff, but I've worked for an organizer. So if you just need a pantry refreshed or organized, you've got that, we've all got those deep shelves when stuff gets stuck back there, it expires. I can help you go through that and figure out a better way to store things. I'm actually doing a pantry for my parents right now, but it's going to be a custom design thing. Going through closets, anything like that. I love to do that kind of stuff. I am weird. I will tell you that. I actually worked for an organizer during the pandemic, and you had to put down like, what's your favorite part of organizing? And I said sorting. She's like, I love to sort too. So you're definitely a special breed. So, anything else? No? Okay. Well, I want to remind you, we've got 2 more meetings coming up. We've got next Sunday, which will be funeral planning with Pastor Moan. And if Trey Harper doesn't have anything else going on that day, he may be joining us. And then the following Sunday will be Morgan Schmidlin, and she is with the Lutheran Foundation of the Southwest, and she'll talk about giving plans. Yes, ma'am.
In case you want to know, Elizabeth helped me when I moved. She's very good at throwing away things when you can't do it.
Rocks?
No, we did not throw away.
They are actually in the center of her home in a closet, taking the entire foundation down like something.
Pretty much.
But yeah.
She has before and after pictures. I was afraid we were going to see some.
No. I wouldn't do that to you.
I just want you to know that when my mom passed at 13, Trey Harper did her funeral. And at that time, he helped me purchase a funeral policy so that there'll be no problem with family. It's all taken care of.
Oh, good.
So just for me, yeah, for me, not for, I didn't do it for anybody else. Just me.
We'd say thank you.
Well, I was working at the time, traveling so much, and I was concerned about passing away. You know, I mean, I just got weird thoughts.
Yeah.
And he said, don't worry, we'll go get you no matter where you are. So, you know.
Well, and it's really interesting. We're all familiar with continuity of care because they used to have their meetings here, right? I'm actually a member of that now. Like, I didn't know what they were until I got into this, and I used to get the emails, you know, of, hey, continuity of care is having their meeting here this week, so then the parking lot's going to be crazy for when you're dropping off kiddos, right? And it's just the most amazing organization because they've got all these different people with all these different expertise, and you've got hospice and, you know, in-home care and different communities represented. But I met a woman on Thursday that is a advocate for you. So she will go with you to your doctor's appointments and keep that medical piece of the binder up to date for you. And since she's a nurse, she's able to talk to the doctors in a way that makes sure that all of your healthcare is in sync and that you're not taking, you know, the wrong medication that might counteract something else or whatever. So it's just really interesting how many different resources there are that are out there. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all coming.